Good evening, everyone. We are just waiting to get a quorum. At this point, I do see that the Council Vice President, Estela Reyes, is present. I see that Councilor Marie Dela Cruz and Councilor Dave Abdu are present with us. We just need one more member before we can begin the meeting. And I can see the City Council chambers. And now I see Councilor Levy joining us.
Microphone.
All right, so I think we do have a quorum, so we'll do as Mr. Abdu often says, let's do some of the legal stuff to start off with. I do see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 counselors that are present with us so far. So let's start. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, this public meeting of the Lawrence City Council is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance by members of the public will be permitted, but the public can listen and or view this meeting while in progress by use of the Facebook and YouTube web access sites referenced in this notice paper. Members of the public attending this meeting virtually will be allowed to make comments if they wish to do so during the portion of the hearings designated for public comment by use of the web phone access provided in this notice. And you can find us, of course, on Facebook, Lawrence City Council Facebook page, Lawrence City Council YouTube page, and of course, right here on our Zoom address. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councilor Levy. Councilor Gonzalez. Councilor Selena Reyes. Councilor Abdu.
Present.
Councilor Payano. Councilor De La Cruz.
Present.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Present.
Councilor Vice President Estela Reyes.
Present.
Council President LaPlante.
Present, and let the record reflect that Councilor Pavel, could you read Councilor Pavel Pianos and Councilor Selena Reyes? I think they're with us as well.
Councilor Payano. Councilor Payano.
Present.
Councilor
Can
yes.
you hear me? Okay.
Yes. Councilor Selena Reyes.
Present.
Do we have a quorum, clerk? What's the roll call?
7 present. So
Thank
far.
you. We have a quorum. Would you please join me in a moment of silence? And today, just if you wouldn't mind dedicating this moment of silence to the Iannello family. Now, will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, counselors. What I'd like to do at this point, we do have a little bit of housekeeping. I'd like, before we get into the budget discussion, there was a document under old business 84, the borrowing of funds at $58 million. There was a typo in the notice, and it just needs to be corrected. It's a technical correction. Is there a motion to take 8421 out of old business?
So moved.
Motion made by Counselor Abdu, seconded by Counselor, it's hard to see, but I think it may have been Payano. Roll call, please.
Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez,
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz,
Yes.
Councilor Payano,
Yes.
Councilor Abdu,
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Councilor Gonzalez, Councilor Levy,
Yes.
Council President LaPlante,
Yes, the motion passes. Counselor, I'm looking to suspend the rules, rule number 20, which is a vote for reconsideration, since we've already had a vote on this in the past. All of us voted in favor of it. So I'm looking for a motion to reconsider this vote. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Abdu. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor, I think it was Dela Cruz. Any discussion? Clerk, please.
Councilor Adu, Council President.
Counselor Maria Dela Cruz, you have the floor.
Yes. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Council President, I understand that we are approving those $58,000, but we also have a land that is next to the police department that we have to reconsider because we don't want any kind of business to be next to the police department. And my petition will be tonight that we approve this $58 million with the mind that we are going to get maybe $2 million more that we can get the land which is necessary.
So just for some clarification, this motion to reconsider the next motion will be to order a public hearing. According to the bond counsel, Mr. Gonzalez, there was just a small correction that needed to be done. We know we need $58 million. That is what was been told to us, but there was one line in there that number did not match the words, and we just need to correct that. So what I'm looking at this point is just to make a motion to reconsider, which we've already made a motion and seconded. And then after this motion, I'm going to be looking for a motion to order a public hearing it may be for July 6th. So that's the order that we're going in things, and we can make that further discussion, Counselor, about your other amendments and all that. But we have to get through this procedural stuff first. So the motion's been made to reconsider vote 20, and it has been seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Councilor Levy,
Yes.
Councilor Gonzalez, noted. Councilor Selena Reyes, Councilor Selena Reyes, Councilor Abdu,
Yes.
Councilor Payano,
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz,
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez,
Yes.
I come back.
Councilor Selena,
Yes.
yes. Councilor Estela Reyes,
Yes.
Council President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. At this point, I'm looking to get a motion to order a public hearing for July the 6th for the order of $58 million. Is there a motion?
So move.
So moved.
Motion made by Vice President Estela Reyes, seconded by Counselor Giovanni Rodriguez. On the motion to order a public hearing, any discussion on this matter? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Estela Reyes,
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez,
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz,
Yes.
Councilor Payano,
Yes.
Councilor Abdu,
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Councilor Gonzalez. Noted. Councilor Levy,
Yes.
Council President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. The next item and the only other item this evening is a number 9821. Currently, there is a motion to table the committee report. I'm going to be looking for a motion to take that off the table, the matters, and then just to vote in favor of the committee report, and then we will open up the public hearing. Is there a motion to take document 9820 off the table matters?
So moved.
Motion made by
Second.
Mr. Rodriguez, seconded by Mr. Abdu. Discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy,
Yes.
Councilor Gonzalez. Noted. Councilor Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Councilor Abdu,
Yes.
Councilor Payano,
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz,
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez,
Yes.
Councilor Estela Reyes,
Yes.
Council President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. So now this is taken off the table. The motion before us now is just to accept the committee report. If there's no discussion on the committee report, we can have a roll call vote on the committee report and then open the public hearing. Is there any discussion or further discussion on the committee report? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Estela Reyes,
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez,
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz,
Yes.
Councilor Payano,
Yes.
Councilor Abdu,
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Councilor Gonzalez. Noted. Councilor Levy,
Yes.
Council President LaPlante.
Yes. At this point, the motion to accept the committee report passes. At this point, the public hearing for the 9821 is open. Clerk, please read the public hearing notice.
Notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, June 22nd, 2021 at 7 p.m. The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed 2022 fiscal year appropriation order and appropriation order enterprise funds as presented herein for consideration of approval by the Lawrence City Council for the City of Lawrence. Said public hearing to be conducted at a meeting of the Lawrence City Council, 200 Common Street. Notice of the meeting of the Lawrence City Council as said public hearing shall be published in advance as required by law on the City Council website, www.cityoflawrence.com/agenda center, and the City Clerk Public Meeting Notice website, www.cityoflawrence.com/document center/index/193. The proposed FY22 budget for the City of Lawrence to be presented for consideration of approval is as follows. Let it be noted that this meeting is being conducted by electronic means as amended on June 22nd, 2021 at 11:30 a.m. with public viewing, listening, participation, and input provided. City of Lawrence fiscal year 2022 appropriation order, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, an order concerning appropriations for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2021. Ordered that the following sums designated as personal services, purchases of services, professional services, supplies, other charges and expenses, capital outlay, intergovernmental, and debt service are hereby appropriated separately for each department in the general fund of the City of Lawrence. Ordered that the following sums designated as personal services, purchases of services, professional services, supplies, or other charges and expenses, capital outlay, intergovernmental, and debt service as hereby appropriated separately in the parking garage and lots enterprise fund of the City of Lawrence, airport enterprise, water sewer enterprise. A complete and unabridged copy of the proposed 2021 fiscal year budget is available on the City of Lawrence website, www.cityoflawrence.com, and upon request of the Office of the City Clerk, 200 Common Street, or by email at druiz@cityoflawrence.com. Let it be noted also that it's fiscal year 2022.
Is that the entire public hearing notice, clerk?
Yes.
Very good. The public hearing is now open. I know that there's some members of the public who are raising their hands, and as I see them, I will call them out. Again, please leave your name and record, name and address for the record, and we'll start off the public hearing with Mr. Mali.
Good evening, honorable members. Humayun Mali, 53 Chester Street. I have to bring to honorable court attention that many citizens shortly before they were personally attending this city hall, but unfortunately the news of this meeting being remote has not been posted. So many of the citizens were confused about not knowing about this information. We are very grateful as a citizen to Honorable Mayor for proposing such a comprehensive budget for our city. Our city will rise up again from the ashes of death and destruction after pandemic. In this great budget hearing, please remember Lawrence Police Department with the impeccable leadership of Honorable Chief Roy Bass has done excellent job to protect our citizens. Police officer with the budget of only 16,608 deserve the best contract. This great union of the pride and honor must show excellency in protection and service. We have to remember September 13, 2018, in Columbia gas crisis, Officer Sato Wai was serving and his house was burning, but Steve remained and served. Officer Carl Farrington was injured last year in a Springfield street, is still out. We pray for his well-being and fast recovery. The great union of pride and honor, we are united to say Blue Lives Matter. We must declare September 13, the day of the police appreciation. This great police department need the best contract. Please sign our police contract now. Our DPW department with a budget of only 11,460 sacrifice blood and sweat. One of this great city see the coldest day or warmest day DPW working hard, make Lawrence a beautiful city. We must support their great union and leadership. Late Tony Rose died while was working on Andover Street. DPW, this great union need our support. Million thanks for the hard work. Lawrence Public School with the impeccable leadership by Honorable Superintendent Cynthia Paris, one of the best superintendents in the history of our city, shown the impeccable leadership from the Columbia gas destruction and chaos to dark era of the pandemic. Because this awesome leader continue our children educating in the era of the pandemic. From her arrival to our city, initiation of 100 days, just listen to our citizens, and community and parental involvement has improved. Lawrence Public School in this important budgetary hearing must know on the way to become the best public school in the nation. Must not million thanks to our teachers and the union. We are behind you and support your great member. We have to support our school safety officer, such as Officer James Mealy, a cousin to Honorable Mayor Sullivan. For this great safety officer, Officer Mealy needs our support to resolve his dispute with the administration. Please support Officer James Mealy. We must honor wonderful safety officer, retired Vinnie Galloway, in his dedication and service. Such a great leader, such a reason. Nelson Mandela said, education indeed the most powerful weapon to change the world. Our firefighters with a budget of only 14,105 are the best firefighters from the Columbia gas sacrifice. The service has been outstanding. In this important budget hearing, we remind you our great city of the faith and compassion. We are obligation in this important budget hearing show pragmatic solution to help our homeless population. Also, the great budget hearing, we must help our homeless population. As a great genius Horace Mann said, education indeed the most important societal equalizer that help our citizens to overcome the financial barrier, social barrier. We must provide more classes as an English for the second language for our citizens. For our citizen, Massachusetts Attorney General Maura Haley performance and leadership in the era of the pandemic has been very poor, and she has done nothing for our citizens. Remember your campaign promise, prosper Lawrence, save Lawrence, is only possible if you sign contract for Lawrence Police Department and support our DPW firefighters and DPW union. Our strong and ever united city will rise up from dark ashes of the pandemic. Please remember our safety officer, James Milley. We the citizen grateful to Honorable Mayor for such a wonderful budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mali. Are there any other members of the public who wish to speak on this matter? I'm looking for hands raised by members of the public. I see School Committee Member Patricia Mariano. Committee member, you have the floor.
Thank you, Council President, and good evening, councilors. My name is Pat Mariano. I'm a member of the Lawrence School Committee representing District E, as well as the LAE Board. I was also a member of the Budget Subcommittee, and I witnessed firsthand how the budget was built and thoughtful concerns of all the school leaders as they allocated their appropriation. This is a critical time in our schools. Many of our students are returning in September with far-reaching issues. The schools have put resources to help our students readjust to the schools and get back on track. I urge you not to tie our hands, but rather to do what is best for the students of Lawrence and approve the Lawrence portion, the Lawrence School Committee portion of the budget. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public who wish to speak? I'm
Yes,
looking.
I'd like to speak.
Sure. Identify yourself, please. Your name and address for the record.
Sure, Kelly Staniszewski, 47 Hamlet Street. And once again, I'd just like to state the hypocrisy of the council to allow a carnival and state that it's good for the children's mental health when not one counselor ever mentioned it or concerned about the minority community or the effects of not attending school for 10 months, or the block party that was held, or the special election stolen from the people, or the Black Lives Matter event held this past weekend. COVID works for you when you want it to. You are all elected to represent your constituents, and you need to stop using COVID or the governor's bill as an excuse. Other towns are meeting publicly, and Lawrence wanted to be leaders at the beginning of the COVID by accessing fines for no mask, putting curfews in place. But true leaders now would follow the science and understand the need for an open and transparent government. There's 2 bills in Boston for tomorrow to allow 16 and 17-year-olds to vote, and also non-citizens. Also with the Lawrence School Committee budget, they've been in receivership since 2011. Lawrence, basically, the school committee and the LAE does not have or had public meetings. In a minority community, you would think that they would encourage transparency or family involvement, but no. I asked to at least speak during one of the meetings and was told I could not. I would have to submit a letter before 12 o'clock. Could you imagine the parents of Lawrence submitting a letter to be involved? I sent what I had to say to a member and asked them to read it during the meeting. They said that they couldn't even do that. Teachers unions didn't want to go back. Parents can't be involved or participate. Who is really looking out for these children? Now, the Chapter 70 budget for the school, in 2018, it was $190 million state aid for public schools. Many districts choose to spend more than the required amount, not Lawrence. Lawrence contributes the required amount. Most towns contribute anywhere from 150 to 250% of the required. We're not going to see success if we don't invest in the children. And people in Lawrence that are paying taxes, that are in private schools, should be awarded the same opportunity to be involved in summer school or the enrichment programs being offered through the COVID funds. We pay taxes too, and that should be open to all children. All children should matter no matter where they go to school in Lawrence.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any other members of the public who wish to speak on the budget? I'm looking. I do see that Councilor De La Cruz's hand is up. Councilor, why don't we, let me close the public hearing at this point, entertain a motion, and then Councilor, I will look in your direction to speak.
Mr. President, if there's no other members of the public who wish to address the council, I would like to address them.
There is no other members of the public. Do you wish to speak at this time, Mayor?
I do.
Okay, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. President and members of the Lawrence City Council. I was very excited to have this meeting in an open forum. That's why I brought, our department heads to this meeting here at the chamber today. But I do appreciate the fact that we continue to have the meeting, even if it's remotely. Tonight, I stand before you to respectfully and officially request your approval of the budget for fiscal year 2022, which you have had an opportunity to review. I wish to take this time to publicly say thank you to each of the department heads who were present during the public hearings for the Budget and Finance Committee meetings. But in particularly, I wish to say thank you to Mr. Anello for all your hard work during those nights. This budget is balanced with 0% tax increases to our taxpayers and does not include a single layoff. This is a budget that focuses on the needs of our city and emphasizes in the people that we all represent. Over the last couple of weeks, I have had the opportunity to either meet in person and speak with you guys, to each counselor, either in person or on the phone, and answer questions you may have had. I am proud to say that after my conversations with each of you, we do share a commitment with our city to make it stronger. I am glad that each of you feels supportive of adding funding to our recreational department to ensure that there's more fun opportunities for our children and our youth in the city. Additionally, in our conversations, we all agreed about the importance of adding resources in our Department of Public Works by bringing more staff and including funding to properly maintain our parks. Also, we spoke in details about the need for mental health counselors in our Lawrence Police Department, and I hope that this is an item that will remain in the budget. Most of you also agreed on the fact that we have to add additional capacity to the planning, community, and economic development departments to support our small business, and that's why we are adding an additional person in these departments. Our conversations were very positive, and we discussed in details, all of the information that I have shared and a lot more. Council President, once again, I would like to respectfully request the approval of the fiscal year 2022, in which is balanced, does not include any taxes, and there's no laid off. Every department head is here tonight to answer any questions you may have. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, councilors.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your presentation. Seeing that no other members of the public wish to speak tonight in this matter, I am calling the public hearing section of this now closed. Councilors, what is your pleasure?
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve made by Councilor Vice President Estela Reyes. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Gonzalez. Discussion. Councilor Flores or anybody who wishes it?
Council President,
I'm sorry, you're right. Councilor De La Cruz, you have the floor.
thank you. I would like to begin this moment by saying thank you to all the departments for working so hard for the vaccination time. It has been a hard job because you have to convince people to get vaccinated. But at the same time, we had the vaccination. It is free to the community. And all of that is the effort of the mayor and all the people that work in the Department of Health. And we had to say thank you as a community, as member living in a community where we are getting so much support when we need it. I also would like to say thank you for trying the best to make this city a better place. It's more cleaner, it's more safe. It is a lot of communication with the police department. It is a lot of communication with the inspection and service department. It is a lot of working together as a team. I think it was about time for the city of Lawrence to work as a team, even though that we're still in the needs of so many things. I would like to make a list of items that I would like to make recommendation to the mayor. One of them is, Mayor, we need a trainer from the police department to work with women and girls from our community. Why? Because physically our women are being affected and emotionally as well. Then we need somebody from the police department to come and train our ladies, because I think it's a need and it's going to be part of our society at this moment. I also would like to make sure that the South Loring East School and the South Loring East and the Arlington schools are having AC available. Those two buildings, they are doing the vaccination. And let me tell you, when I went to the South Loring East School, there was no AC for the people who are working there from Lawrence General. Then I don't think it's a good condition at this moment, and I think it needs to be addressed as soon as possible, because we want everybody to get vaccinated, and when they go there, it is hot. I also would like to say that there should be salary increase for the people working in the parking. The parking were renovated, and we also need those people working there to have a fair salary. At this moment, they haven't had an increase because of their union. But I think, Mayor, you should be working with them, because those are the people with the lowest salary in the community. I also would like to say that this coming year, we are planning to approve the recycling department, the recycling laws and ordinance. Then we need more members for the inspectional service. We need more members for them to be able to work on the days that we have the garbage outside. If we want to see this city clean, we need to work together as a team. Then the inspectional service needed about 5 more members to be able to reinforce the law when we get to approve the recycling ordinance. We also would like to say that it is about time that we work for the people. City councilors, we get our salary in Andover, the median salary is 36% the lowest income for the city councilors. In Lawrence, the median salary is 3%. Then I would like that when I leave the city council, that our young people come and take this position with a salary that they don't need, that they won't be able to do 3 or 4 jobs to be able to support their family. And we need that support, Mayor. We need to increase the salary for the city councilors as well. I also would like to say that our city is our home. And at this moment, all of those staff that are sitting at the city chambers, we wanted to say thank you. Thank you, because they've been working so hard to make a difference in this community. I also would like to say thank you to Mr. Ianello, because when something happens in your family, nothing can be more important than your family. And you are sitting there as well. You got my respect, Mr., for taking the opportunity to be here tonight when we understand the pain that you're going through at this moment. Thank you one more time. And thank you to all the city councilors for working as a team. We are a team that we are working for the city, and we want the best for this city. And we cannot step back. We have to continue doing the best for our community, but we need to continue to work together. Even though that we do separate votes, we have to understand the needs of the community. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and God bless our city. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Counselor. The next person's hands who I see up is Mr. Abdu. Counselor Abdu.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you, I want to add to what my colleague, Councilor Dela Cruz, said First of all, I want to thank the members of the Budget and Finance Committee that gave up a dozen or so hours to conduct hearings, very thoughtful hearings. Councilor Levy, Councilor Payano, Councilor Rodriguez, I want to say thank you. Want to thank the clerk and the clerk staff for supporting the process. Our secretary to the city council, Teresa, who is helpful between the meetings and gets a lot done that people don't see. Also want to thank the people assembled this evening, the department heads and staff that presented to the committee, provided materials, provided questions and answers, and follow-ups after the meetings. Thank you. I know that you all have day jobs, and spending several hours, whether on Zoom or in the chamber, is not something that is a quality of life enhancer. So thank you to those department heads and staff that presented. To the budget, real quick, after dozens or so hours of review and debate and hearing, it is essentially a flat budget, and there is no tax increase proposed. And as we all know, this body tonight can only cut line items or reduce line items, but we cannot add to this budget. We cannot manipulate this budget. We can only approve it or reject certain line items. And there's not a lot of change here year over year, with one or two additions and one or two subtractions that was proposed. I've always been one to, at least individually, allow a mayor, his team, to do what he needs to do. But there is no significant change here in any department for the negative. And again, in closing, I do want to echo what Councilor Dela Cruz said. We won't be able to do it tonight, but, and I said it in years past, I am one individual that will always consider and support, whether it's inspectional services or public safety, increases in those areas, and in particular inspectional services, because it does pay for itself. We added 3 positions a few years back, and as Councilor Dela Cruz said, we want to keep our city clean, and we want to, whether we live in a 3-family, a single family, or an apartment, we want a clean home. And these individuals before you this evening, the department heads, represent all of the employees that work hard for the city of Lawrence, are not greatly compensated, but they come to work each day and work hard. And I just, in future budgets, I would look forward to supporting increases in those areas. But this evening, I just want to say in closing, thank you for this time, Mr. President, and conclude by echoing your comments at the top of the meeting, and that is my deepest condolences to Mr. Ianello and his multiple losses. And my thoughts and prayers are with you, Mr. Ianello, and thank you for all that you and your team did beforehand to provide this information, and for the last week when you've been dealing with other more important things. Thank you, sir. Mr. President, those are the conclusion of my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Are there any members, any other city councilors who wish to speak at this time? Thank you. I just want to make a real quick comment. I want to personally thank you, Mr. Abdu, as the chair of the committee. You serve on a lot of different roles. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you to the leadership of the others of the city council as well. Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez, thank you very much. Councilor Pavel Payano, thank you very much. Councilor Anna Levy, thank you very much. This entire time, I've been on those city council meetings and chamber budget committees. They're long, they're tedious. It's a lot of work, and all 4 of you rose up. So thank you for the work that you did to vet this budget on behalf of all of us, for doing the hard work for over 2 weeks. So thank you so much. Mr. Payano.
Thank you, Mr. President. As always, in the past 2 years, one of the things that I always mention is the budget when it comes to that we're giving to education. I think, in the past years, we've met the sort of the level, the state requirement for the money that we give to our public schools. But I think it's important to note that in years past, we didn't. Over the course of almost 20 years, the city of Lawrence did not contribute what was legally required by state law. And just looking over a period of 7 years, that equaled to more than $20 million that was not given to Lawrence Public Schools. In addition to that, over the course of the past several decades, this is something that still goes on today, the city of Lawrence has not been a good landlord. There are times, I think, in the past few years where we've definitely improved on on that, but there's still items today that are being taken care of by Lawrence Public Schools that I believe should be taken care of by the landlord of those property, which is the city of Lawrence. I hope that we will see in the future an increase, a bigger increase to our public schools. At the end of the day, it's the money in education, even though we're getting, a lot more money from the state in order to try to deal with some of these inequities. It is important that the city of Lawrence, that we do our part as well, and that we invest heavily in our youth. One of the things, the state law, what it says is that it has a certain requirement as to the percentage that cities and towns need to give. And I believe in Lawrence, it's somewhere around like 4%. And that's a requirement for an adequate education. Now, one of the things that I always tell people is, would you ever want to go to an adequate doctor, an adequate doctor, an adequate mechanic? So why would you want an adequate school system for your children? If we want more, and we want our school system to be the best, and we want our school system to be on par with cities and towns across the state, that means that we have to do our part as well. Thank you, Mr. President.
If there's no other members who wish to speak on this matter, I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilor Estela Reyes,
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez, Councilor Rodriguez,
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz,
Yes.
Councilor Payano,
Yes.
Councilor Abdu,
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Councilor Gonzalez,
Yes.
Councilor Levy,
Yes.
Council President LaPlante.
Yes. The budget passes. The FY22 budget, it will be effective July 1st. Congratulations to all the hard work of the men and women in the chamber right now, and to all the city councilors who worked hard to get it to this point. Congratulations to everyone.
Yes.
There is no other business before the city council this evening. With that, I want to just throw an announcement of some sort. The next meeting will be on July 6th. Are there any committee meetings coming up between now and July 6th?
Yes, Mr. President. Councilor Abdu wishes to speak.
Councilor Abdu, you have the floor.
Yes, Mr. President, there are personnel committee meetings scheduled for next week. I am referencing, there's a personnel committee meeting on the evening of Monday, June 28th at 7 p.m. There's an additional one scheduled for Tuesday, June 29th, if needed. Right now, we will certainly be meeting on Monday, the 28th at 7 p.m. And again, we have one scheduled on June 29th, Tuesday evening. And that is it. There is no budget meeting scheduled between now and the next council meeting. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any housing or ordinance committee meetings?
We have, on housing, we have no meetings for now.
Thank,
We'll schedule one after the next meeting.
thank you. Ordinance Committee Chair Reyes, any ordinance committee meetings?
I'm going to leave it open just in case that we need to go and use our Tuesday for our personal. So no meeting.
Thank you. Public Safety Committee Chairman Payano?
No, no meeting.
Okay, thank you. Counselors, I'm going to take this opportunity to push the envelope a little bit. We have our next meeting is on July the 6th. I'd like to get some input from you as to how we're going to proceed from this point going forward. Teresa has polled you all as to how you want to proceed at this point. I want to make sure we're all on the same page starting July 6th and going forward. And the other thing I wanted to throw out there is the opportunity, perhaps with your blessing and permission of the city council, to see if we could perhaps do something more of a hybrid. I think that that may be an opportunity, not only for the council, but for the boards and commissions that are also looking for some flexibility. So I guess my question to this membership, just as if it was a question regarding when's the next meeting, is if you have just a thought, I'd like to get a poll, if you don't mind, as to where you stand, so we can go and I can just kind of follow your direction. I see some smiles from members of the council.
I'm actually smiling because of a message that I received.
Okay. Smiles are good. We want to be in a good mood, so that's not a problem. But it'd be even more helpful if we can get some direction. So the hybrid situation, is that something that the council would like for me to proceed and see if we can to make happen? If it is, it would require some technical stuff, some screens, some microphone suggestions, things of that nature. Mr. Payano?
Thank you, Council President. So I think that for the past several conversations, that has been something that has been mentioned by several of the councilors, that there's an interest. I think what you stated is that there's a question of that we don't have the proper infrastructure. So I think it's a matter of getting those equipment and moving in that direction. And I think regardless of where the governor sort of sits on things with in-person, remote, whatever, even if we were to come back 2 weeks from now to fully in person, I think having that type of equipment in place would benefit the city and would allow for perhaps for more individuals to stay active and engage with the business of the city.
So, Mr. Payano, I hear that you're in favor of looking at hybrid and making decisions as we go forward. Is that correct? Okay. I see Mr. Rodriguez, your hand is up.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I just wanted to, before I say that I'm in favor of a hybrid situation, I would like to have or we should have a conversation with the different parties that might put this technology together. I know that today was a little bit of a confusion. I hear that it was some challenges in terms of having two set of perhaps audience through a hybrid situation. Perhaps if the council is partially in place at the chambers, and the public is also present, so that brings us to have two different set of technology at the same time, and that might bring a challenge. I think that before I say yes, let's look into the hybrid situation. I think that we should have a truthful conversation as of how we should do it. In the meantime, I think that we've been meeting for the last year and a half remotely, And I think that there is an audience up there that is that we should take into consideration as well, that are watching these meetings, that get used to watch these meetings. And if we look into those numbers for the last year and a half and compare to the last 4 years prior to COVID, the audience that are watching the meetings have increased tremendously. And that's something that we should also look into, not to just leave the current scenario that we are. Perhaps what we should do is be able to engage that community that is up there before we go back to the in-person meeting, because that also have value. Those people that are watching the meetings are not the traditionals. That are not the traditional people that watch the meeting. Perhaps are new people that are watching the meeting, and that's very important because we are getting an engagement with the community. With that said, I'll say that looking at the hybrid technology, it could be a challenge based on conversation that I already have. Like I said before, it could be a little bit of a situation, but the technology is available. Many communities are looking into it, and I think that we should sit down and develop that, or have that conversation for us to develop those, or for us to engage into that technology and be able to take advantage of it.
Thank you. I see Councilor Dela Cruz's hand up, and I do want to hear from other councilors that they wish to speak. Councilor Dela Cruz, you have the floor.
Council President, I understand that we are trying to get to Century 21. It will be very important that even our desk to have the computer inside there, that we don't have to even use so much paper. In the long run, we're going to save a lot of the paper. Sometimes we don't have the computer there. We don't have the system to charge it. We don't have anything to connect to the laptop. But it's about time that each one of us, in front of us, that we have a laptop computer that is already there. That, you know, any page that we have to go back, we can do it right in there. That way, we're going to save a lot of money on papers. And that's one of the technology that I would like to see, just right at our desk. The other things that I would like to see is that, you know, to continue, even if we go back to this, to personal, to in person, that we have that long connection with people from the community. More people are calling, more people are getting more knowledge and getting more education about what the city council is all about. I think, you know, with all of these ideas together, I understand money, it will be an issue, but I think it's about time that we start thinking about making the changes. Like I told you before, we need to change the whole chambers. We need to do all of that. We need to upgrade. Then this is a great opportunity to make a list, and maybe we get some gift for Christmas, and the mayor say, okay, I'm going to change the chambers, at least the chambers, because I have a lot of friends that they come to the meeting. You know, they come to the meeting every time, and the chairs are very uncomfortable. They need to stand up and walk around because just where they're sitting is not comfortable. I hope that we can find money to upgrade all of this. And, you know, thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. Any other counselors who wish to speak on this particular, or just about going live in person, remote, hybrid? I do see Councilor Selena Reyes and Councilor Anna Levy. Let's go in that order because I saw her hand first. Councilor Selena Reyes.
Thank you, Councilor President LaPlante. I would like to say what Councilor Rodriguez mentioned. We need to find a way to maintain our community connecting. because what he mentioned is very important to us because our community is more connected to this pandemic within the past. So we need to take in consideration to find a way to maintain absolutely get our community connected. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Selena Reyes. Councilor Anna Levy.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. First, I would like to thank you guys for when I spoke with the president a couple of weeks ago. I asked for some humidifiers that maybe will be helpful for everybody in there. And today, I was so happy to see that we have a new humidifier at the chamber. So we have 4, and I think so that is going to be more helpful for the well-being of each one of us when we go over there. So thank you so much. That is one of the things, at least we are getting little by little. So, but I think so that we're going to be addressing all of the issues that we have right in there for myself and for my, it's not, I can say okay, I have asthma, and sometimes I have an asthma that is very hard for me to breathe, and having the mask is very hard for me to sometimes to stay anywhere. It's not just only the chamber, but anywhere it's very hard for me to stay. So I think that we should consider, the proposal for some of my colleagues right now. So to be a little bit more comfortable with fixing the area that we're gonna spend sometime 1 hour, but sometimes we spend 4 or 5 hours sitting in there. And taking into consideration that so many people are watching us more than that I saw that they're gonna be watching. So if people are getting more customers right now to be watching the meeting through Zoom, through Facebook, through so many other media that we are having. But we need to start preparing for Century 21, on all of this new technology and just getting much better and more easily for each one of us to be, working with the public, because this is what we do. We work with the public, we work with our citizens, and we are here for them and still them to be for us. So we are here for them, and they need to learn more the process of what we've been doing. I see, so that they are getting more comfortable right now watching us from here than getting through the city council, because it's more easy just to see a TV in your house to go to maybe to a movie outside of your comfortability of your house. So thank you so much, each one of you, for getting, and proposing. But I think that little by little, we are getting better, so that we can think about make a list. So at least one of these things that I asked is being there, and I feel so happy when I saw it this afternoon. And that's the environment. I think so it's going to be much better. So thank you. And before I want to say thank you also to all my colleagues from the Budget and Finance Committee. Thank you for all the time. For me, what a process to learn. I just learned a lot. I had never been in the committee before. And at the beginning, I was a little scared, but I think that I learned the most regarding, how we get the money, how we expend the money, how we're going to be doing, on the future with all of this new project that is coming to the city. Thank you, Mr. President Abdul, for all of your direction. And I'm being so happy, Pavel, Giovanni, to be part of this group. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you again, Chairman Abdu. We appreciate that, your help. Any other members on live and remote versus hybrid, et cetera, Mr. Gonzalez? Yes, sir.
Good evening, Council President. For all my years, 4 years as a school committee, 4 years as a city councilor, now I'm back with you guys. I'm an old school. I work person in person with my people from the District C. I met these people now anywhere when they have a concern. I like I've been doing it in person with the people and used to do it before. Well, the pandemic came for another a year and a half. But I'm a person that I would like to have the problems with my people in the District C, person to person. And I used to be on the council chambers, have a meeting before the meeting, the big meeting at 7, talking to my people at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, be there early. And that's the person I am. With all the respect to my college, I'm a person that I meet the people person in person. And it's better for me to be in the city council addressing all the problems. That's my opinion, Councilor President. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other councilors who wish to express their opinions live versus hybrid versus remote? If you haven't spoken yet, I'd like to hear from you first. I haven't heard from Mr. Abdu, who's got his hand up. Mr. Abdu.
Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate the ask. I am personally, I am fortunate enough to be healthy and vaccinated, so I'm prepared to conduct meetings whichever way benefits all of us and benefits the people of Lawrence. I guess hybrid, if it seems like we're talking hybrid or remote, hybrid would make sense for those individuals that are healthy and vaccinated.
Please leave your message for
Can be present. Those that have, reasons for not being present, they can still participate, whether they're on the other side of the podium or our side of the podium. So I guess before taking an informal vote here, I would suggest, I would endorse hybrid, and I'm prepared to be there, be here, or somewhere in between, but I'll be present.
Thank you, Mr. Abdu. I see the Vice President who hasn't spoken yet. Vice President Reyes. You'll need to unmute yourself first.
Thank you, Councilor President, to give us the opportunity just to kind of share and express how do we feel going back fully in person. I respect all the comments that our colleagues has been putting on the table. However, I just feel like, and I have to do an echo of Mr. Gonzalez. I think I'm old school too. I like to be one-on-one with our constituents. I think, public participation and having this remote meeting, it has been a challenge. I know we have to face that. But what I'm seeing in this is that by the time we call a question or come to any of our colleague, is so much that we lose. We lose our thought. Like good example was today. I would have loved to have our budget meeting in person, just to have the opportunity in case that anyone has any question, and we're gonna be asking the question to a person that is gonna be in person. So I think we need to move forward just to kind of go back in life and be meeting in person. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. I don't think there's anybody else. I think all of our colleagues have had a chance to speak on this matter, and I do appreciate that. And I will continue to consult with you, continue to communicate with you, and let's see if we can get to a place. If we're going to try to make as many people as we can, many of you do the best job that you can to give you the tools to get the information that you can to represent our residents better. So we'll continue to strive for that, to that goal. At this point, I want to thank you all so much. I am going to entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion made by Councilor Gonzalez,
Second.
seconded by Councilor Vice President. Oh, Councilor Levy, I think said it. Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy,
Yes.
Councilor Gonzalez,
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Councilor Abdul,
Yes.
Councilor Payano,
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz,
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez,
Yes.
Council Estela Reyes,
Yes.
Council President LaPlante.
Yes, and before we leave, I want to say a special thank you to the clerk Ruiz, Clerk Bradshaw, and our confidential secretary, Ms. Vega. Thank you all so much for all your work to get us to this point tonight. You're unsung. You do a lot of work behind the scenes. We're very grateful for your contribution, so thank you. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank
Good
you.
evening.
Have a good night.
Good night. Thank you, everyone.